Hello, my name is Emma Merrick, and I'm going to be talking to you about China and its food culture. So, first off, let's get started with the flag. We have some red and yellow. The colors on the flag represent the Communist Revolution, and that's represented by the red color. This color also symbolizes the people that died during the Civil War and Japanese invasion. Red is also a common color in the Chinese culture. So that also is great to understand if you're wondering why they use that in their flag. The gold color represents rays of sun flowing from the red land. I just chose three. There's a note at the bottom. I couldn't find one in particular that was the most famous, but these came up a lot when I was researching. So first is chow mein, two is Peking roast duck, and three is kung pao chicken. Location and capital. It takes up nearly 1/4 of Asia's land. It's located in Eastern Asia, and being one of the most populous cities in the entire world, the capital of China is Beijing, and that's right here. It is one of the 4 districts governed under the main government. So, China's a pretty big country. Religion. There are 5 religions recognized by the government in China. So there's Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, Protestantism, and Catholicism. Only people of these 5 religions are allowed to register, hold services, and worship under the government. Food symbolism. In China, there are superstitions and beliefs of certain foods that are thought to invoke or take away certain blessings. Through different pronunciations, shape, colors, history, legends, a meaning of power can be significant to these certain, foods. Examples: during Chinese New Year, most foods symbolize good luck and promote blessings. So, for example, we got dumplings, which are up here. The food symbolizes wealth because of their shape. Apparently, they're shaped like, I read that it was gold and silver, which I thought that was kind of cool. Candy, the sweet taste symbolizes wishes for a sweet and rich life. I am very sorry, pardon me. At birthday celebrations, you got noodles. I like that. It means longevity. Their long shape represents a long life, and it's bad luck to cut them. So for the agriculture industries, the 3 major crops in China are rice, maize, and wheat. 90% of China's total food production is taken up by manufacturing these crops. So the fishing industries, this is a big industry in China. It's the main hub for the world's seafood industry. 35% of the world's seafood is provided by China, and the country consumes at least 45% of it. Food industries in China, we got some leisure food industries. I've never heard of these, but I like that the first one is named Three Squirrels. This was a website that had a bunch of these on there, but I just chose one. I chose the leisure food, and I decided to put that because I think that graphs are kind of cool, and tables are. National Food Dietary Guidelines. So it's kind of similar to the US, it's just worded differently. Like this would be grains, this would be protein probably, vegetables, fruits, dairy, and that's cool because we have forks. Core recommendations: they want you to eat a variety of foods, cereal-based, be active, eat plenty of vegetables, fruits, dairy products, and soybeans. Eat a bunch of every food group. Eat moderate amounts of fish, poultry, eggs, and lean meats. Limit salt, cooking oil, added sugar, and alcohol. And develop healthy eating habits. Avoid food waste. I like that they avoid food waste because I know that's a big issue, with some people here. Like, there's a lot of food waste in schools and stuff. Food customs. The social customs of food in China. So they establish and maintain interpersonal relationships. So eating alone is not a social environment. When you eat together, it's important in China to do so because it maintains and strengthens relationships. This could also be a relationship with God that you have among a certain food that's holy or sacred. People in these Chinese communities usually surprise each other with meals to make friends or meet new people and strengthen bonds, which I thought was kind of cool as well. Represents social status. Depends on the scarcity of the food and how elegant it is considered. How fancy, how scarce of food are you eating? How expensive was it? Group characteristic. Eating behavior when formed has structure and continuity. It is very hard to change what setting you grew up in, even if you moved. So for example, in southern China, rice is usually the staple food, while in northern China, food made of wheat flour, such as steamed bread, and buns, is the staple. So this is an example for people who come to the U.S. and they may be of Chinese descent, Japanese, other, foreign. They're going to keep their traditions because that's what they're used to. It's very hard to break apart from that. Celebrating important events, like we talked about before, dinners and banquets celebrate some special occasion with certain foods that are symbols and are holy and sacred. Symbolic significance of their culture. What do certain dinners mean? What do certain foods mean? Means of rewards or punishment. Different settings. You do well at this baseball game, we're going to take you to a fancy restaurant. Sweets and desserts. Let's get ice cream after that test that you took. You got an A on it. And depriving food, which isn't as great, but, this kid's being a brat, you're not going to get dinner tonight. It's very sad that people do that, but it happens. Food security. So, China's food security has been drawing concerns due to the growing climate threats and the relationships between the U.S. and other Western countries. The Chinese president responded to these. He addressed the importance of the country's food security, and he called for further efforts to increase grain security and farmland protection. Even with all this, food prices in China have remained roughly stable, which is nice. In the short term, China looks like it's going to be okay, but in the long term, people are going to need to start thinking about how they're going to deal with this because it's uncertain. Despite China's enormous population, the country has limited resources, making the security of the food supplies a constant preoccupation, so people need to be constantly worried about it. The leading health problems in China are ischemic heart disease, stroke, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and lung cancer. The leading disease risk factors are tobacco smoking, high systolic blood pressure, and dietary air pollution risks. Air pollution makes sense because it's a very highly populated country. Is there a correlation between food and some of these? Yes. It even says it in the article that I took this from and, got the information from. Pardon me. Of course, heart disease, stroke, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. I'm not sure what that one is, but I know stroke and heart disease are all can all be caused by diet. So blood pressure could be caused by diet. So yes. Comparison to American food culture. We use silverware, they use chopsticks. We enjoy individual servings, and they will eat collectively as a group because they are a collectivistic culture. Food is bite-sized in China. They'll cut things up so they easily can be picked up by those chopsticks. But we use knives to cut ours up, like meat, big steaks, and stuff. They don't remove bones like we do. Vegetables are always cooked in China. If you ask them what a salad is, they're going to say, no, we don't eat that. What the heck is that? It might make them repulsed. But I love salad, so that would make me pretty sad. Different ingredients not seen in the U.S. We don't eat dogs here. We don't eat frogs. We don't, that's supposed to say tree. We don't do tree fungi. There's other ones too. The Chinese use fresh spices and never processed ones like we do. Desserts are usually fruit and tea in China, which is a lot better. We should probably do that. U.S. foods that are banned in China. U.S. pork is banned in China because of ractopamine and its bad health effects. I didn't know this. This also kind of scares me, but it's banned in a couple countries too. Bread. There's potassium bromate used in some breads. I don't know if it's all breads, but in bread in general. And it can be an ingredient, and it's very unhealthy and toxic for your body. So a lot of countries have banned that. And this is my works cited. There's 4 pages. I used a lot of sources for this. I'm very sorry about the cough, but thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.